What's up guys, it's Coach Sam for Sanity Ball Training. Hope you guys are all having a great day. In this video, we're talking about basketball workouts. This is part 2 of getting ready for basketball. So if you haven't seen part 1, you can click right here and check it out. Let's get right into it. So before I start, this video will be about habits to start doing and how you can have a quality workout. So the first part about basketball workouts is avoiding injury. So this is very important because obviously if you're injured, you can't play. So you want to take every precaution possible so that you don't get injured. The first way to decrease the risk is by stretching. Especially young players, they can go out and play, but they won't feel the consequences of not stretching until they get older. So no matter what age you are, you want to make sure that you stretch, and you want to make sure you stretch before and after a workout. So there are 2 types of stretches that you should be doing, especially if you're a basketball player. So the first is active stretching. So that's a normal stretching where you just stretch every body part from head to toe. Now the second part is dynamic stretching. That is when while you're, for example, if you're moving on the court, you're moving but you're also stretching your body part. So you're gonna make sure you do those 2 body parts because those are essential, especially dynamic stretches because you're stretching the muscles and doing the movements that you might do on a court. So that's why those 2 stretches are very important to do. The second way to prevent injury is technique. So you're gonna make sure you practice the moves you're doing, master that form, and do it over and over again, so that way you risk the chance of injury. Now, 2 examples of how you get injured if you don't master that form is, the first is landing. The most common topic that is talked about for landing is after you dunk. So that way you land properly, you don't hurt yourself. But actually it is through every part of basketball. You're jumping and landing while you grab a rebound, you contest a shot. There's been plenty of ways where you land. So you want to make sure that no matter what you're doing, you land the proper way. So it is very important, especially when you're practicing, just to practice that landing. Practice for at least a few times during each workout. That way you prevent that risk of injury. Now the second example is triple threat. There have been plenty of times when I have been in a triple threat position in a pickup game, and I have easily twisted or hurt my ankle. So it is very important, even in that movement, especially if you're a quick player. You want to make sure that you master those moves, so that way in the game you can use it effectively and not hurt yourself. So you just want to make sure that you stretch before and after a game, and you want to master your techniques and make sure you master that form, so that way in the game you can execute them properly and not get injured. So the second part I want to talk about for basketball workouts is practice.
Listen, we talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice.
First thing I want to mention is that you always want to practice more than you play a game. Now the reason why is because in a game you're playing with the team, but you can't work on your weaknesses. So you want to make sure you have more individual practices, work on your weaknesses, improve on them. That way you can execute them properly in a game. Because when you're playing a game, you're putting what you practice into action. So the second thing I want to talk about for practice is how long you should practice for. So before I get into that, I want to emphasize that it is not how long you practice, it is about the quality of the workout you're putting in. So for example, if you have a player who plays for 30 minutes but only puts their half effort into that and they don't try as hard, versus another player who could play for 15 minutes but they play with their full heart, their full effort into their practice, they put everything they have into their practice, they will get more out of it because they're putting their full effort into it. So that is why quality is bigger than quantity. And with that being said, the quantity of time is still a factor. So the longest time you should practice for is about 1.5 hours to 2 hours long. And that's no matter what shape you're in. Even if you're in the greatest shape of your life, you don't want to practice for more than that amount of time. And the reason why is because when you're playing a game, you have timeouts, you have the end of quarters, you have foul shots. You're not playing straight for 1.5 hours to 2 hours long. So that is why when you're practicing, you want to make sure you don't want to practice for longer than that amount of time. So during your practice, you want to make sure that you're doing game-like moves and you're doing them in game speed. So that way when you're playing in a game, you're already ready because you practiced it before. And you also want to make sure you push yourself to the max. Take a look at Kobe's mindset.
How much harder will you work in this offseason now to get back to the championship?
I push myself to exhaustion.
So no matter how long you're practicing for or what workouts you're doing, you want to make sure you push yourself to exhaustion. Do the workouts and do it hard as you can, so that way by the end you have no more energy to do any more. That's how you're going to make sure you get a full quality workout in. So reverting back to the analogy I gave earlier, for the player who practices for 15 minutes versus the player who practices for 30 minutes, it is all about the quality of the workout and exerting all your energy into the practice that you're doing. So that's why that is how you want to make sure you get that quality workout in. So the next part is, if it's your first time playing or if you're getting back into it after not playing for a while, this is what I will suggest for you guys. So first is, you don't want to jump immediately to an hour and a half to 2 hours long. If you're first starting off, you want to start off with a 10 to 15 minute workout and get used to working yourself to exhaustion. You want to get used to pushing your body to the max and keeping that quantity of time short. So you can try practicing for 10 to 15 minutes for 3 to 4 days, maybe up to a week, and see how your body reacts to everything. So if you're ready for it, you can try to add 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, or maybe you want to keep it at the time limit. So everyone's different. Like I said, it could be 3 to 4 days, it could be longer than that, it could be a week, it could be shorter than that. You get to adjust accordingly to yourself. With that being said, you are not restricted to practice for only 15 minutes a day. You can have multiple sessions throughout your day. Now here's a clip of Kobe and his experience with sessions.
Right now, imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? You relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9.
So as you saw, you can break your day up so that way you have rest in between so your body can recover from the workout. So the last thing of practice is that you don't want to compare yourself to players like MJ or Kobe or LeBron. They are once in a lifetime talent, so they can handle a lot more things than the average person can. So they can handle practicing for 5-6 hours all in game speed, but the average person cannot. So you don't want to compare yourself to them. You want to make sure you do what's best for you and for your body and what you can handle. The third part about basketball workouts is gameplay. This is where what you practiced into action. So the first part about that is you want to put your full effort into it. Now again, this is the reason why you work to exhaustion in practice. You work to exhaustion so that way you are prepared for the actual games. Now the pickup games is your practice for your real games. So if you're in a recreational league, if you're in a high school, middle school team, you're in college, your pickup game is your practice. So you want to make sure, again, you put your full effort into it, you hustle and be aggressive. But one tip that I would like to suggest to do is imagine that a coach is watching you. So if a coach is watching you, you're more likely to be more aggressive, to grab a rebound, to grab for loose balls, just hustle out there. You'll be more likely to do all those things because the coach is watching you. Now, another thing that is good to imagine is that if a coach is putting you in, right? So if you're on a team and you try to earn minutes and now you did, when you're on the court, you want to show the coach that he made the right decision by putting you in instead of somebody else. So like I said, this is when you hustle the best you can out there. Put your full effort into it. That way you show the coach that you're in those minutes. That's what you want to do in a pickup game. So when the actual games come, you'll already be ready and prepared for it. Now, regardless of skill, if you're not in shape, you'll have negative impact on the team. So you're running up and down the court. You have to get back on defense. You have to go up on offense and run the plays. You have to be in shape for all those things and be ready to do it all in game speed, or otherwise you can slow the team down and have negative impact. So this is why, especially during practice and even during pickup games, this is why you want to make sure you're conditioned and ready for that. Now at the end of the day, it's all about you and what you can handle. Right, so this is all organized. So you have a structure, but at the end of the day, it's all about you, and you have to organize the practice and you need to organize the pickup games so that way you become better. So it's all according to you and what situation you're in and what your schedule is like. So you want to make sure that you adjust everything accordingly so you can do what's best for you. If you're interested in having a personal training session, please check out the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.